On this episode, I asked so many questions to someone that has a job that there might not be enough money to pay me to do. Her name is Jennifer, and she's a flight nurse, like hanging out of helicopters. Hell no, nurse. On the outside, her life must look like it doesn't have an ounce of moderation. Quite the contrary, it's very balanced. She just packs a lot of stuff in. A little time for this, a little time for that. It's like a daily round of Tetris, but you're not trying to get the high score. You're trying to get that big combo on the end where you leave the space open and you turn that flat one long ways. We also talk about the key to kicking life's ass like this just might be power socks. Let's jump in. Hey everybody, welcome to a Moderately Good podcast. As always, I'm going to do my shout outs real quick. So we got my guy, Above Average Show Media, all my pictures and stuff like that. Go follow him. We got my guy, Jason, that does all my audio for all the podcasts. And that his @ on Instagram is Wish Pocket. So if you're in a band or like you're looking for a sound guy or someone just to beef up your sound, Jason's my guy. My guy, Jaron, he has No Names Originals, and that's custom clothing that he does. Plus, he does like paintings and stuff like that. A lot of cool art support. It's not local. He's in North Carolina, but support local in North Carolina. Guy out there doing his thing, and he's one of my friends. So go follow him. And then last but not least, my guy, Mo, he has the Go Bubble app. That is the detailing service like to your home. And if you use the promo code Go Moderately, you get some sort of discount. It's been like 3 or 4 episodes and I still don't know what it is, but like somebody will tell me eventually, I guess. Anyways, everybody, I would like y'all to welcome my guest, Jennifer. Say hi, Jennifer.
Hey.
And this is good for me because we're like a second connection because we have a mutual friend. And so, but right before we started, you said, hey, I wear power socks too. Okay, yeah. So I don't know what, I can guess what power socks are, but I want you to tell me what power socks are.
Power socks are just fun-loving socks, and they're goofy, and you just wear them every day. So instead of just routine dress socks or plain black or white socks, they're socks with something on them. Yours have solo cups?
It's beer pong.
Beer pong, even better. Yeah. So I have an entire basket full of socks, probably a pair for every damn day of the year.
Yeah.
And I wear them under my uniform at work.
Here's the other thing about power socks. They're easy to match.
Right.
And like my socks, like for me, I don't know about you, but even when they're like plain black socks, it has to be the same plain black sock company. It has to be the same one. Yes or no?
Yeah. Well, and one sock may be faded from another pair because you wear them more often. They just sit on top in the drawer. So you don't want to mix up a dark washed one with a
I love
light.
How deep you're going on these socks.
I don't know. I'm OCD though. So
no, but that's me too. Like that's why the socks like have to match. Like I'm like literally like measuring them out and stretching them and like feeling the rim of and like, oh, it does have a little rim on it. Okay, that matches this one. You know what I mean? But some are easy because they're marked. But with power socks, not a problem.
No, not a problem at all.
So we'll get into it in a second, like what you actually do. But you have a uniform for your job, right?
Correct.
But your uniform's the same every time you wear it. So do you match your power socks to your uniform, or do you just wear whatever power socks that day?
Heck no, is whatever power socks I'm feeling for that day. I'll open my little basket and I'll fish through, and whatever my mood is for the day is the socks that I'm picking.
Do you have any favorites?
Yep.
Okay, shoot.
Yeah, I do. I have some Ninja Turtles. Those are awesome.
Nice.
Love some Ninja Turtles. Yep.
Is it one of them or all of them?
It's all of them. All of them on them. There's one on each side of the sock.
Wait. So there's 4 Ninja Turtles. There's 2 on each side of the sock?
Yep.
Okay, got it. So like, is it a bunch of little small pictures or is it like big ass Ninja Turtles?
Oh no, it's their whole face.
It's their whole body. Oh.
Yeah. Well, not whole body, but their face.
Got it.
But their face. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ninja Turtles. What else you got?
And then my other favorite ones are the ones with cuss words on them. Shh! Don't tell my boss. I love those. They're all hidden. The cuss words are hidden on those socks, so they're great.
What do you mean by hidden? Hidden out of your pants or like hidden on the sock?
So I wear ankle boots, and they come up, and so just a little bit of the socks show. But but the cuss words are down by the ankle. So for the most part, they're all hidden underneath my boots.
I'm gonna see the dress code rule book. I don't think that's in there. I think you're safe.
I'm pretty sure dress code is I should be wearing black socks or white socks or something.
Oh,
but
is it? Well, I hope he doesn't hear any of this.
I'm kind of a rule breaker.
what is your so what's your favorite cuss word socks?
Let me think. I have some that say I'm just a ray of fucking sunshine.
But that's great though. I mean, yeah. So tell people like really kind of quickly, like kind of lightly what you do and or what you have, what your career kind of has been up to this point. You can shout out your Instagrams or anything that you have there. So, but just really quickly.
Yeah. So I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 11 years now.
But you're not just any nurse now.
Nope.
You're like a super nurse.
I'm a flight nurse now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. So I've been flying for 6 years now. 1 year in my current role, which is super exciting, kind of goes even a level higher than just typical medevac. We do rescue, fire ops, and law assist too. So I get to hang out of the helicopter sometimes, which is always fun and an adrenaline rush. But I love my job and I've been doing it for a while now. And I just like taking care of people and the immediate gratification of helping somebody.
So, okay. So you became just a regular old nurse 11 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you want to become a nurse? Like what was it about nursing that you wanted to do that?
Initially, I wanted to become a nurse because when I was in 8th grade, my grandma went in for a routine procedure, had some complications, and ended up ultimately getting put on hospice care. And I was one of the only people that could sit by her side for her medical procedures and care. Nobody else really had a strong stomach for it. And then after that, that's when I knew that I wanted to take care of other people. So I've always wanted to do it since I was in 8th grade. Started pursuing it, got into college, and I was working in the ER. And this guy comes in. He had went down in a Walmart.
Like had just fallen?
Yeah, cardiac arrest in the Walmart. Just fell down, cardiac arrest. Bystanders started CPR. EMS gets there. They throw this life vest on him that does CPR for him. So I'm a student in the ER, and our instructor says, hey, everyone is going to the ER. There's a code. Do you want to help? Heck yeah, I want to help. So I go into this room, and they've got the vest on him. No one is getting to do CPR because it's doing it for you. So they said, does anyone want to bag the guy? And of course, I raised my hand eagerly and was like, yeah, sure, I do. By this point, we've been working him for a little while. Everyone leaves student-wise, other than me and my instructor. And my instructor's like, hey, I'll stay here the whole time. Well, we end up getting this guy back. And knowing now that guy should have been sedated, but he started to wake up after we got him back. And the look on his face was the most thankful look I've ever received in my entire life. And in that moment, I was like, this is it.
So how old are you at that point?
Probably 20.
Okay. So this very like I was already going to ask you this, and this is perfect that led into it. Like, I kind of want to know, is there anything that you won't do? And then my second part of that question is there anything that you're scared of? But let me kind of preference it, because 20-year-old me would have been like, if they were like, hey, does any student want to jump in? I'd have been like standing in the back with my head down, hoping they don't pick me. That would have been me. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of curious, kind of like, where does that come from inside of you? Like, you know, like, did it happen in that moment? Did you already have it before? Did you already know? Were you like, if you're going to do something, do it all in? I want to know kind of how that was for you and where you got that from.
I think because I already knew I was passionate about nursing, I just innately had that.
But the other students didn't. Like, it sounds like they weren't like
timid.
really. Yeah. So what makes you not be timid? Because I get that impression that you're not like just if you look at her Instagram, like, I mean, you just do tons of shit. Like, I mean,
yeah, I went skydiving this morning.
Yeah. This morning. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, so I think she's doing the podcast tonight. She went skydiving this morning. I mean, totally like typical, right? So where does all that come from? And then I want to know what you're afraid of.
I think my parents just kind of raised me to be independent and unafraid.
Is it you? You have a sister?
Yeah, I have a sister.
older?
She's 3 years older. Yep.
Yes. You didn't give me a chance. I was going to say 3 years. So
Yeah.
3 years older. Okay. So anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. It's just how my parents raised me. I think that the people you surround yourself with really influence you in life, like your actions, your motivation. They can either bring you up or they can bring you down. And because I had a strong foundation with my family to start with, then I just always have surrounded myself with like-minded people. And
Is your sister like that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely is.
I mean, and nobody has to be like totally intense like all the time, or they can be different levels, but she has that kind of innate feeling of like let's do something. Let's do this. Like,
absolutely.
Do y'all do a lot of stuff together?
Yeah, we take a sister trip every year,
Oh,
actually.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, we used to hate each other. My parents would say we'd fight over a piece of used toilet paper when we were growing up, and then now we're best friends.
So how old were y'all at that point?
Oof. All through elementary, middle school, high school, we hated each other.
Really?
Yeah.
When did y'all start liking each other?
After she moved out of the house.
Well, that's kind of how I think that's pretty typical too.
And now we learned to embrace the fact that we can't live together, but we have limits with each other.
Right.
So I can go and be on vacation with her for anywhere from 5 to 7 days. And then after that, we get on each other's nerves. And we just innately know that. So we don't push those boundaries.
Right. That's great.
So living life moderately. Yeah. I'm living life moderately with my sister.
Well, and I would also say probably if like say that you just weren't feeling it that day, like you could go, hey, I'm just gonna stay. I need to take a nap, blah, 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 whatever. And she'll be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go do blank.
Yep.
Like, and there's no like not guilt about any of that, right?
No, I've done that before. I'll get off shift in the morning and go over to their house, and I'm like, hey, I'm wiped. I'm gonna go take a nap in the bedroom, and then when I come back out, we'll do the whole thing. We'll go to the park with the kids. We'll have dinner.
Yeah.
We just get each other.
Yeah. So, what are you afraid of? Were you afraid of flying before you became a flight nurse?
I wouldn't say I was afraid of flying. It did take a little bit of time to get used to because I wasn't familiar with really what turbulence felt like.
In a helicopter?
In a helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first time you hit a little turbulence and the helicopter does dip, it kind of make your stomach drop.
Right.
Like a roller coaster a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would be scared of that. It just was taking some getting used to.
Okay.
And as far as being scared of anything, like I hate snakes, but I don't know that I'm afraid to do anything. I'll try anything once for the most part,
Yeah.
Why not? You only live once. Let's full send.
Well, I just, do you know how to live any other way? Do you know any other way other than that?
Not really. I mean, I know myself enough that I go hard. My schedule is always packed. I'm always staying busy. But when it comes time to slowing down and realizing that I need a break, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I understand that side of me too.
Before we kind of started recording, we were talking about that you and your friend wanted to do a podcast where y'all tell horrible dating stories.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious. I mean, and you can answer any one of these questions. One, do you feel like that your personality can be intimidating to guys, right? Two, does that make dating difficult? And then three, like, what's your most horrible dating story? And you don't have to answer. You can answer one or none of them. I'm curious because I would like when we met. I think actually, like, you just kind of like stood up and like shook my hand or something like that. Like, I mean, it was just very like, hey, how you doing? I was like, hey, how's it going? Like, you know what I mean? But then like, like it's not intimidating to me. And I like that. Like I feed off that on some level. Right. So, but I got to think that like not every guy is like that.
Yeah, it definitely takes a special kind of person to handle a personality like me.
Right.
My dad always raised me to have a firm handshake, and it is a sign of respect and it's a sign of confidence. And my dad always taught me to walk fast. So if I couldn't keep up with him, I needed to walk faster,
right.
So because of that, then I just kind of started with that mindset. And then when you get into a career like I have in EMS, it's a predominantly male driven industry.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially probably what you do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, granted, we have a lot of females at my current job compared to most programs. So, heck yeah, go women.
Yeah.
Female empowerment here. But it is different. I have a different mindset. I have a different set of internal jokes, and I probably cuss a lot more than the typical female. And I don't necessarily... I can get dolled up and look girly, but I don't have to do that. I can also get down and dirty, you know? So for a lot of men, that is a problem. And a problem in a way of like, it like hurts their like masculinity, kind of? Like, is it like, because I feel like, you know, I don't know. Like, you met my girlfriend. I mean, she has a strong personality. Yeah.
Like, and I like it.
Yeah.
I like it that she has a strong personality. And I would think as a guy, if you didn't want a girl that had a strong personality, I mean, so you want her to have like a weak personality? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. I'm just alpha and independent. And I've actually started talking to a guy before, and he asked me to send him a picture. So I sent him a picture of me in uniform. I was getting ready to go to work. And his reply was, how about you take that off and put a dress on? Delete.
Yeah.
Right away. Right away. You're not my kind of person if you can't handle what I do for a living.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. All right. So did you want to follow up with your worst story?
Worst story. Oof.
Worst dating story?
Yeah, this one just happened in January. For the most part, my dating life has not been too terrible. I've been married and divorced, and then
How long were you married for?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did you know him before?
Just a year. Well, a year we were dating, and then we got engaged, and we were engaged for a year and a half,
and then married for 3.
Yeah, then
so
married
like kind of like 5.5 years.
Yeah. Roughly.
Yeah. How old were you? So obviously I'm divorced too.
Yeah.
And I'm always just kind of fascinated by the numbers. Like, so how old were you?
I think I was 25, if I remember correctly.
When you got married?
Yeah.
So retrospectively, what's your feeling about that? If you would want to share, what is your feeling about your divorce now? Like, how do you feel about it now?
I feel really good about it. Honestly, I feel like he's a good person. I'm a good person, but we just weren't right for each other.
Right.
And yeah, we probably should have realized that before we got married, but sometimes you just see hearts and stars. And
well, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You've never been married before. And I remember my parents would tell me, like, or I would hear people say, well, you know, like being married is different. I was like, well, how much different can it be? I live with this person.
Yeah.
You know, but it is different. You know what I mean? And I just, but it's not easy. It takes a lot of work.
It does take a lot of work.
Relationships just take a lot of work.
Well, you have to have 2 active parties to make it work. You can't just have one side trying to save a marriage and then the other side not. You both have to invest the same amount of time or have the same mindset. And if you don't have the same mindset, you at least have to be open enough to understand where the other person is coming from.
Yeah.
So for me, relationship-wise, communication is one of the number one things that I look for these days.
Right.
If you can't communicate with me and I can't have a flowing conversation, you can't tell me how your day is or how I made you feel based on a comment that I said that I have no clue. You know, communicate that to me. And if you can't, we're not right for each other.
One of the coolest things that I do with my girlfriend is if we kind of say something that might sound a little shitty or passive aggressive, but it's not meant that way, I'll just turn to her and go, hey, don't take that personal. That's not about you. Like, or, you know, and I just say that out loud.
Yeah.
And I feel like that if you really listen, if a person says that, you just really listen to that, then it diffuses those situations. But then when someone tells you, like, don't take this personal, the first thing you want to do is take it personal. You know what I mean? It's a reactive kind of thing. But if you really trust your partner or you have good communication, then it works.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right. January. The month is January. Ugh. What time did this date? Where'd you go? Or what the pickup? Give me the deets of how it started.
Well, we met on the dating apps, go figure.
Yeah,
because that's how everyone meets these days.
Yeah.
And
Which is very, like, I find that very surprising for you because you are so outgoing and do so much stuff. You must run in and talk to people all the time, right?
oh yeah, I've never met a stranger. I mean, I
Yeah.
could talk to a tree. So
So like, just really quickly, why do you use the dating apps then? Like, is it, I'm just curious.
I feel like I don't get hit on in public. I don't know. I'm like, rarely do I get approached in a public setting when I'm at a bar or, not that people are going to hit on you at the gym because I put my headphones in and kind of just keep my head down and do my work. But I just never get approached in public anymore. I don't know if society has changed in that sense or.
Do you think that like, do you think people pick up on your very strong vibe?
I've been told that, yeah. So,
I mean, I could see that. You know what I mean? I could see, like, I mean, there's just, I don't know how to explain when someone is okay with who they are. It gives off a very genuine, authentic vibe, right?
Mhm.
And you just kind of, you're like, oh, and like some people pick on it up on it easier, some don't, and you can misread people as well. But like, I'm assuming that you kind of like you give off a strong vibe, and like I said, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was great. You know what I mean? But also, like, I'm like, I'm not intimidated by that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I want people to be strong. Like, why would you want to hang out with people that aren't strong?
absolutely.
Anyways, January, you're going where?
I don't even remember our first date, to be totally
Wait,
honest.
did you go on 2 dates with him?
Yeah, we went on a couple of dates.
Okay.
It slowly progressed over a month.
Okay, wait. So we'll say you went on like 3 dates?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was the worst date at? The third one or the first one? Did you give him another chance after the?
Well, it wasn't the date that went bad.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh.
All right.
We went to a Bryce Vine concert and had a blast. I mean, it was awesome. I
Okay.
loved it. He had stayed the night with me a couple of times at this point, and I thought things were going well. Slowly but surely, little lies started coming out over this month. Like a month and a half, whatever we've been talking. And it was like, oh, well, how come I haven't been to your place and you've come to my place? And so then he says, well, my ex is living with me. We have a kid together and I'm trying to integrate the families because he'd been married once before, but had kids from 2 separate relationships.
Okay. One more time. Married twice before.
Married once, sorry.
Married once.
He told me married once before.
Oh, this is all a lie, though.
Oh, yeah. This is all a lie.
Okay. We won't go over the details. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. So he says this girl's living with him with the kids so that they can still have a family aspect with his other family that also lived in San Antonio. And I'm, going along with it. And I'm pretty easygoing of a person, I feel like. So I just let it slide. I was like, okay, if that's it, as long as she knows about the relationship and it's cool. And he's like, yeah, she knows everything. It's fine. Well, he had stayed the night with me a couple of times and I'm at work one of these next days. I get a text message that says, I just slept with my wife. I'm like, what the hell? 2 seconds later, my phone starts ringing from an unknown number and I, of course, pick it up. And this girl is like, hey, just so you know, I'm Julian's wife. And now I'm like, wife? She said, yep, wife. Been married for 5 years. Okay, well, he told me you were an ex-girlfriend that was living with him. Apparently, they had just separated, decided to separate the day before I met him or 2 days before I met him. So he quickly got on the apps after they had made this decision. And then just a bunch of lies came out. He was lying about his military background and what he had done. He had lied about his family life. He lied about stupid shit, eating Whataburger, going on a run just because he wanted something to have in common with me, mowing the grass, dumb stuff. And he kept trying to get back with me multiple times after that. And I had already called it quits. I was like, I want no part of this. You lied to me. You're done. I can't trust you again. We're over. So then things got weird. Then he started to become a little bit stalkerish. I blocked him on phone and text, his phone number. He starts emailing me. I block his email. His ex is contacting me. I had to block her, block them on social medias, everything. Then this motherfucker starts calling me from unknown numbers and thinking I'm just going to pick up and answer. I threatened a restraining order at this point because it got so out of hand.
Ugh. I don't miss dating at all. I have no desire to have any part of dating. God bless you. Like God bless all of that. So this is perfect. I kind of have this theory, and I want you to tell me where I'm wrong or confirm it for me, right? So back in the day, so I never used dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was in a relationship with my ex-wife before they really got hot, and then once we divorced, I used it for like a hot minute. It sucked really bad, and I just quit. Right. And then I just found my ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago and got her pregnant. You know, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, but I have this theory of like, you know, when you meet somebody, you put your best foot forward, your representative. Like, this is the best version of me. Right.
Yeah.
And he's doing all the bargaining for like you as this relationship is like blossoming. Right. But when you add in like an online presence, now online, I mean, you couldn't be any more perfect. You know what I mean? Like online, you're the most perfect person on the planet. And so then what happens is when you take your online person you've made and then they have to actually meet you, and then your representative has to bargain or negotiate how real that is, you end up with people like lying about the stupidest shit just to like maintain that. Like, and that's such a weird way to date. Because it's like nothing's really real in between, like all that stuff. And you have to just get through that. You have to get through that part.
Yeah.
And then hope it works after that.
Well, he had even told me that he was telling me these lies so that he'd have common grounds with me and make himself sound better. So he was trying to be more appealing to me.
I mean, that is like narcissist, like at its like finest.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
absolutely.
It's that folks, that is what they call like love bombing, gaslighting. I mean, that is it. That's the definition, right? Of just matching you. So it just seems perfect, right?
Yep. My roommate
until
told
it's
me
not
that.
perfect anymore, you know?
She is like, he is love bombing you. I just want you to know.
Okay, so while this is all going on, so this is really interesting. While this is all going on, what was your roommate telling you?
She's telling me he's love bombing me. She's like, this is all too quick.
She sees it totally different.
Yep.
And you did not listen. No. But I think that's totally normal. I'm not saying that like you did. Like, I mean, that's what a lot of us do. A lot of us do that. So like, I'm curious about what made you trust your gut more than trusting your roommate. Like, or like why do you think you couldn't really see what she was saying just because you were so deep in it, or you wanted it, or what?
I wouldn't say that I didn't see what she was saying, because as soon as she started telling me these things, we're close to the end of the relationship anyway.
Had she been holding on to it for a while? Or do you know?
She hadn't really met him too much up until that point, because sometimes our schedules don't always mesh.
Mm-hmm.
And so she hadn't really been an active participant when we were home to see how we interacted or what was going on. So she tells me, hey, he's love bombing you. And then I think it was like the next day, she sends me this podcast about love bombing. And I listened to it. And the whole time I'm listening to it in my bed, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what he's doing to me. She's right.
Right.
You know, so then I started picking up on those cues. And then I think within a week or two, it was over after that. But she had warned me, and I trust her. Her and I are sisters to a T. I mean, our personalities are the same. We just get along great. We work together. We live together.
Does she do what you do?
She does, yeah.
Okay. Do y'all work together on the same flights, or are y'all on separate flights normally?
We're separate flights. Primarily, it's a medic nurse role.
Okay.
And she's also a nurse.
Okay.
So.
Oh, so you can't have two nurses?
You can.
But you kind of need a medic.
We don't typically, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we don't typically. She would need to be a crew chief, which she's training for now, and then we would be allowed to work together. But you have to have someone who runs the hoist and then someone who rides the hoist.
Right.
Neither her nor myself are trained to run the hoist yet. She's going through the process now. I'll be going through it hopefully within the next year or so.
Yeah.
But So we just work together and live together.
And you trust her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Our birthdays are 3 days apart. Our personalities can be more aligned. So I trust her word. And when she sent me that, I actually listened to it like she had suggested. And all the signs were there. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Then I started calling him out on his bullshit. And it was just a whirlwind of dating in a month and a half.
How long have you and your roommate known each other?
So we actually kind of got set up on a little blind roomie thing.
Uh-huh.
My now boss, he was my preceptor, called me, said, "Hey, I know you're new. Do you need a roommate?" Called her, said, "Hey, I know you're possibly looking for a roommate. Do you want a roommate?" We called each other, ended up talking for like an hour, and then boom, she found the apartment and I moved in with her. So I've known her since about March of last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But you trusted her to that level.
Absolutely.
Like yeah. Okay. So do you think that y'all are very similar because of y'all's job? Like because y'all both do the same thing? Like you need that kind of mentality to do that job?
Absolutely.
Like I'm not doing that job. I think about like I'm afraid of heights. And so I just think about like being in a helicopter with the door open, right? There's the door open has no. Not gonna happen.
We have a safety net. You're attached.
Nope. It's something will happen and I'll fall to my death. Like I'm so afraid of heights.
Believe it or not, I'm afraid of heights.
What? Get out of here.
I am. You put me on a roof with no safety net and I will freak out.
So really that safety net makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can jump out of planes. I can bungee jump. I just have to have a safety net.
So you've bungee jumped before?
I have.
Okay. And have you skydived before today?
Yes. Anything adrenaline. I'm here for it.
Okay. What else have you done?
Whitewater rafting. That's a blast.
Yeah. Like big time whitewater rafting or like just easy
we
whitewater?
We got up to a grade 4 in some places. So
yeah,
that's not too
pretty
bad.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. It was a good time. I enjoyed that. Other than that, I can't really say that anything is too crazy. I don't feel like parasailing is crazy or zip lining is crazy, but I've done all of those too, and I enjoy those. I would love to go cage diving with sharks. Or just diving, open water diving with sharks. That's on my bucket list at some point.
Okay. Why? Why is that on your bucket list?
I don't know why. It's just how I get my high, I guess. I don't know. These adrenaline rushes are what I enjoy about life.
So, okay. Just total side question. It can just be a simple yes or no. I'm assuming the guy that you date, like he has to want to do this stuff too.
Yeah.
Is that hard to find?
I would say so. Yeah.
People are kind of, I'm sorry, people. Y'all are kind of lazy sometimes. Like you're kind of like you're just kind of like, I'll do it tomorrow. Like I'll live tomorrow. Like, Does that feel like it? Is that, I don't know.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. So my mindset is why not live for today?
Here's what's so interesting to me is the majority of my life, I think I somewhat share your mindset at this point in my life, right? Like I'm really trying to do all the things, right? But this is brand new to me. You've been living this your entire life. So that's when I asked you earlier, you don't know any different, right? You don't know any different. I know different though. Like I know how just fearful people can be of the most like simplest kind of things of just putting yourself out there. Like, okay, let me ask you this. Would you do stand-up?
I don't find myself funny, but I would
you
give
try
it a
it,
whirl.
though?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Okay. And to face total failure. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. Why would you do that though? Because it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter. No.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care what anyone thinks of me in that aspect. So why does it matter?
So again, like, did your dad kind of instill that in you that like your opinion of yourself is what's most important? Is that the way they kind of, or like, how did you get to where like you feel like that, where it's like, you don't, the other people's opinions don't bother you per se?
I feel like my parents definitely raised me to be that way, but they would also try to embarrass me in a Walmart or something,
What?
you know, dancing or just being goofy down the aisles. And I would join in with them. I've always been that personality that's just not ashamed of who I am.
Well, on some level, they were telling you this doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really great.
Be a good person, do right, work hard. And I do all those things. So something like stand-up comedy to me isn't my dreams or aspirations. So if I fail, that's okay. Even when I fail in everyday life, like I've failed multiple jobs and just this path that I've been on. But what's beautiful about it is you get up, you dust yourself off, and you try again.
But you just, like I said, like you have no idea how hard that is for like some people. You know what I mean? Just like that whole concept of that. Like I remember that concept being hard. And like now that it's not hard, it's like you just want everybody to feel that way, right?
Yeah.
Like you just want everybody like let's just go do some stuff. Let's just do stuff. Like I don't care what it is. Let's just go do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or the people will go like, do you want to go here? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Let's go. Like, you know what I mean? I'm pretty much down. Like, I think even when we were texting back and forth, talking about like what to eat and things like that, you were like, hey, I'm down for anything. I was like, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't sweat the little stuff. It doesn't matter in life,
Well, I like to think of it like the meal that I will have tonight relative to my entire life is basically irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
The meal I have tonight. So if they forgot to put something on my sandwich, who gives a shit? Like, because it's like in 5 days, I won't remember having this meal. It does not matter. But some people really get upset if they mess up your order. Yeah, it's disappointing. But I mean, it's not worth getting upset over.
Exactly.
Right?
I feel that.
Right.
I feel that.
I mean, and I would say too, because of your job and what you have done over your career, that gives you a lot of perspective on what really matters, right?
Absolutely.
Like when it's life or death, like sandwiches don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our mutual friend Joe has said the same thing to me. He's like, when you're seeing life and death, like what does like it matter if this isn't right or this isn't right, you know? And so I'm new to this perspective. Also, I don't save people's lives. So it's totally different. So are you holding in tight? You good?
I'm good.
Okay. So when we were like, before we got started, we were in the kitchen and you said something. What did you say? Did you say I was raising a little boy? What did you say? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious, and maybe there's nothing here, but do you see something in what I'm doing that maybe reminds you of you or your dad or like how they were with you? Like what made you make that statement? And when you said a little boy, basically you're saying that like she likes to climb and jump and like all this stuff.
Fearless.
Yeah.
She's fearless.
And so what brought that thought to your head?
Just the way that I was raised, my dad telling me, dust it off, shake it off, walk it off. My sister, we were out of the golf course one day. We grew up across from a golf course. Mm-hmm. She's doing cartwheels down this hill, gets her foot stuck in a hole, ends up breaking her leg.
God dang.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So she's on the ground crying because her leg is broke. And my dad walks over to her and says, oh, it's fine. Just get up and walk it off. You're fine. Has this tough mentality. Turns out it was actually broke. So she didn't even go to the ER until the next day to find out that it was broke because my dad was just...
He was convinced it was fine.
Oh, right? He was convinced it was fine. Yeah. But that kind of mindset of just, you're tough. You can handle this. Do anything that you want. Like she's dancing on the kitchen table in there. I love it. I love her personality that is coming out right now. She's just not afraid to be who she is.
And that's a lot of credit to my girlfriend and, what we're trying to like do together. But also like I have this goal to try to raise a very strong woman in this environment, whatever this will be at this moment and what it's going to become. Like, I want her to be like, I want her to be strong. Why would you not want your children, boy or girl, to be strong?
I feel like society these days, and maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I'm just going to be blunt about it, is cultivating a lot of snowflakes.
You know what I really think?
People to be delicate.
Do you know what I really think it is? This is my 2 cents. And Remember the story I told you earlier where my daughter, we'd gone to like a pool party and she tried to communicate with other kids and they like totally shot her down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like because she can't talk yet. I think when you're on devices and things like that and you don't interact like that and have like just like kid shit happen like that, your world is like, well, nothing bad happens. You know what I mean? And so like, you know, we do a lot of like no devices, no TV and stuff around here. And really like, you know, and you saw her, she like threw her, like now she's pouting and this is a whole new thing. And it's like, we try to just encourage her just to be and deal. And, you know, her bed was an open crib. So sometimes you find her, she's just asleep in the corner in the room. You know what I mean? Like we encourage her to like, just take care of yourself. You know, I'm assuming that's kind of probably what your parents did too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't feel like there's any other way to raise an upstanding citizen in this society. You know, you need to be pre-warned about the world and, you know, what is reality out there. And I think that trying to grasp that concept at a young age based on experiences and how you're raised and morals is a good thing. You can't just go blindly into the world at 18 years old and haven't, you know, worked a real job or had to go without something or experience being, you know, shot down.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all life experiences that make you who you are.
I just remember, okay, so I'm from a town of about 5,000 people. This is just real quick. Because I have a question for you. I'm from a town of 5,000 people. The next neighboring town was like about 25,000. There's like one nightclub there, right? And I will never in my life forget this. I will never forget this. There was this girl and like she was like in my mind at that time, she was super hot. But I think she was like older or something. And maybe I kind of knew her through a friend or maybe not, or maybe I'd seen her before. But like I finally got the nuts to go like ask this girl to dance and she totally shot me down. And I was just like, I was incredibly devastated. I don't know if I really asked anybody else to dance really like ever again, ever. Because I was just so mortified.
But what is that now?
Well, now I don't care at all. Like now, but I'm saying like, once again, you've lived your entire life kind of like this, like kind of like head forward like that. That's not my experience. And so I wish I could go back and tell whatever like 18-year-old me, like, hey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But it's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody changes at their own rate, I guess.
Yeah.
I just took a little bit longer.
I recently got shot down. You know, I threw myself out there and was like, hey, if you want to date, I'm open to dating you. And I got shot down. And so that's okay.
But you know, something you said about like your ex-husband, you were like, you know, we weren't a good match. That could simply be timing.
Yeah.
Just timing, right?
Yeah.
And so this person, it could just be timing.
Yeah.
So don't be an asshole and like block them on everything or like tell them like you probably are just like, hey, cool, right? You just like when he was like, hey, I'm not interested. You're just like, cool. Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You didn't go like, you're a fucking asshole, like get lost.
No.
Yeah. Because maybe the timing's not right.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future, it could be right.
Yeah. And if it's not, that's okay too.
That's okay too. You know, like it feels sometimes like a really hard thing to grasp this, but it's really just like, once again, to your credit, it's just good communication.
Yeah.
That's all that is. It's just good communication.
And I don't want to force anything in my life either. So I'm not going to force a relationship if one party's not feeling it because I deserve better.
Right.
You know, I deserve someone who wants to invest that time and that effort into me, who's also equally interested in me.
Are these things you learned in your marriage and divorce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had a previous relationship after that marriage that was 2 years long. And I think from those two relationships, I really grew just on what I want out of a relationship, out of future relationships. And even in friendships, looking at the grand scheme of things, I've now learned what is a good, healthy friendship and what isn't a healthy friendship.
Right. And that could be just individualized for you, what you need in a healthy friendship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did your dad do? What did he do for a living?
My dad does construction.
Okay. Like,
he's a very hard worker.
Does he have his own construction company or is he just work like what? He has his own place? Own
he works for a large construction company out of Kansas City.
Oh, is he in management? Is he out of doing the whole construction thing?
Yeah, pretty well.
But he did back in the day.
Absolutely. He worked his way up. He's been with them for years and years now at this point. And he basically just checks over all the construction sites and manages the lowers, like the people below him.
Right.
So the foremen of those sites, and then the people below that work for him, the construction workers.
That sounds so horrible, like your dad's working construction, but I didn't want to assume anything. That's all. So
No.
So like is like him being is that the mentality, like the mentality that you have? Is that the mentality of like a construction worker? Like, is that like, where did he get that? Like, where did he get that from? Like from his dad? Like where?
My dad was in a big family,
Mm-hmm.
a very big family. And so I think that
like brothers and sisters wise?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he had to fight for like everything, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that mentality was from him being raised. And then I haven't seen my dad cry, but a couple of times in my entire life. And he'll tell you, pain is all in your head. He'd sliced his leg open before. He's, gone through skin cancer treatments multiple times. And that treatment isn't easy. And I just can only remember a couple of times that I've seen my dad cry. And he'll tell you, pain's all in your head. You just got to talk yourself out of it.
Is he your hero?
My grandma is my hero,
All right.
actually.
All right. And so is this his mom or your mom's mom?
My mom's mom.
Okay. And this is a grandmother that you were with?
Yeah, this is the one as to why I'm a nurse.
Right. So why is she so inspirational, other than the fact of all the stuff you already said?
I think our personalities just were very similar. We just meshed. I can remember going shopping with her, and we'd go eat Golden Corral and get ice cream. And
isn't that the coolest?
Oh, I love those memories. We'd pop in Dina Carter, Strawberry Wine, and we'd listen to it the whole way home. A cassette. She always had the little strawberry candies, and she collected these beaded earrings, dangle earrings, and I have all of her old beaded earrings.
Like from like a certain designer or something like that, or?
No, it was just random. Her and my grandpa would go on these Branson trips, and they're almost like Indian designed earrings, but they would be these long dangly beaded earrings. And I just always remember her having those. I remember sitting on the couch and watching, the Grand Ole Opry with her growing up. Just good memories she was just a good person. She was just a really good person. And then she sang on the radio and played the guitar. And so I had started to go down that path a little bit when I was younger. Since had, gotten away from it, and I'm not as good as her. But she just was my person.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I remember my grandmother would take me to McDonald's to get breakfast, and then she would take me over to this local furniture store to jump on the couches. And like they had to hate like when she would bring me over there, but like like they'd have all the couches and they have like bunk beds and stuff like that, and she would just take me to the furniture store and I'd just play on all the furniture. And I'm sure my grandmother was just like, oh, he's fine, or or whatever. But like those memories are like really kind of awesome.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, but once again, it's like you have to interact with like people. Like you have to like have those relationships. You have to be willing to like lose somebody, have failure, like all those kinds of things, right? Like you have to go, like you said, like live life. Like you have to go live out there somewhere. So usually how I like to wrap this whole thing up is I just kind of like basically ask people, what do you do to be the best version of yourself, like recharge yourself so that you can be good for all the people that are important to you. So like you said you work out, right? Mm-hmm. How often you work out? What do you do for your workout routine? Like, is there something about your job that you train in a specific way? Like what are some of the things you do?
Yeah, my job in particular has a PT test that we have to pass to get hired. Mm-hmm. And then we are trying to get back to annual testing. But specifically, if you were to go out for an injury, you're going to have to retest to come back on the line. And if you can't pass it, then, you might get another chance, but you might be out of a job.
Right.
So your physical fitness is very important. We run 1.5 miles We swim 300 meters, and then those are the two big ones. And then we have a couple of random tests outside of that, like a 1 minute breath hold or a 25-minute breath hold or 25-meter breath hold, treading water for 30 minutes. Because we also do like swift water rescue. So we have to be on top of our game in water as well as on land. So maintaining that level of fitness to me has been exceptionally important since I got this job. I hired a personal trainer when I came here, and Carolina, Lifetime.
Yeah, nice.
She's phenomenal. She is actually a triathlon coach, and I hired her.
Which is great. That's great.
Yeah.
For what you do. Yeah.
Exactly what I needed. So I hired her, and she shaved an entire minute off my swim time. And I've just enjoyed working out with her and becoming her friend. We work out outside. She's convinced me to do a sprinter triathlon this year. So I had done one of those. I plan on doing another sometime this year, and then maybe I can work up to a full, but I enjoy doing a healthy mix of cardio and lifting. I used to be a cardio bunny, and recently, within the past year, started lifting. So that's become more of a passion for me.
Was that through your personal trainer?
Yes.
Like she got you into lifting?
Yeah, it was more of like a self-driven aspect, because she does a lot of HIIT workouts with me, which is good because she knows that I don't necessarily enjoy doing those.
Sure.
But she has corrected my form to the point where I am confident to walk into a gym and lift weights and feel okay doing so.
Is that the main reason why you didn't lift weights before, is because like you didn't feel confident about what you're doing?
Yeah, I wasn't ever sure if my form was right.
I think it's a very common thing. I think a lot of people stick on cardio equipment because they really don't know what to do in a weight section.
Yeah, I think if you had proper training growing up on how to lift weights with good body mechanics and form, then you would be more inclined to do so in a gym setting. So I think, yeah, a lot of people do the machines and just cardio because that's what they're comfortable with and that's what they know.
Right. And, for some people, just getting to the gym is like the hardest part.
Yeah.
Just going in the door is like the hardest part. Like I've had clients that just like would literally like just go to the parking lot and like not come in. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. Like I feel sad that like someone doesn't feel comfortable enough just to like walk into a gym. You know what I mean? That's got to be really intimidating. So
yeah.
So what else do you do? What else do you do to kind of recharge? And like, I know you travel like a ton, right?
I do. Yeah. I just got back from Costa Rica. I've done a lot of traveling this year, actually. I went to Florida a couple times, Tennessee a few times. Went to Arizona, Sedona.
Where'd y'all go for your sister? Have y'all taken your sister trip this year?
Not yet this year. We're trying to plan it for later on. Not really sure. We threw out Greece. We'll see.
Where'd you go for a sister trip the last time?
The last time we went to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was awesome. Mexico was beautiful.
Right.
And then before that, we kind of just stuck in the United States. So Greece is going to be a big one we've talked a lot about. Actually, my ultimate trip is to go to Tonga to swim with humpback whales.
Okay.
And we have talked about that. We were supposed to do it, and then COVID hit.
Okay. Where is that at?
It is between Fiji and Australia.
Is this the only place you can do this, I guess?
I think legally, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually really cheap once you get there. It's just getting there that's the expensive part. Yeah. And I think with some lingering COVID restrictions, it's kind of not an option yet, but that is our ultimate trip. And we've both fully spending $5,000 all in. We're doing it because it's life changing.
So do you feel like is traveling one of the ways you recharge? Is like that? Is that one of your things that you do to kind of like balance everything out?
It definitely is. And water for me is very therapeutic. And I just started to expand on this water aspect of knowing that it's therapeutic for me. I've always loved the water. I've always been drawn to the water, but I never quite understood it till the last few years. I started
your job.
Yeah. And I started working with a nonprofit who also teaches this, and they talk about blue minds and how the statistics behind water and therapy is just healing for people.
Sure.
And so for me, water sports, I've always loved them, but I've really just kind of thrown myself into them over these last few years. And I do a little bit of everything: wakeboarding, wake surfing, I've slalomed, I have a kayak, I have paddle boards, I go out all the time, I swim. It's just peaceful to me. Just getting in the water, not having any access to a cellular device technically, or, you still go paddleboarding, you're going to have it out, listen to music or something. But for the most part, it's just that relaxation and resetting for me that really does it.
Yeah. I mean, when you kind of get in a big body of water and you're kind of weightless, it just naturally takes the stress off your body. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever done one of those sense deprivation tank thingies?
I haven't. I've been interested in them.
Okay. Do you want to, I don't know I think this is, okay. So you have to do it nude, I think.
Okay.
Right? Because like they put you in salt water and stuff, but I didn't know that. And my friends were talking about it and they were like, oh man, you get naked. I was like, ooh, I don't know about the get naked part. Like, I don't know. They were like, it's totally black and you're like naked floating. And I was like, I think I might freak out. I don't know. Like, that's just so wild to just think you're just in nothing. And you're just like a baby, like in a womb or something like that. But, you would do it? Yes or no?
I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just me. I'm weird.
I would do it, but I would do almost anything.
Yeah. Of course you would do it. Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. Anything else that you do? Like, is there anything else you do? Like, are you a reader at all?
No, I just can't get into books.
Music? You go dancing. We've gone country dancing before.
Yeah, we do go dancing. I enjoy that. Music is a big outlet for me too. I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. I was raised on country, and that's primarily what I listen to. But once I got out of college and then just started to expand my mind and experience different cultures and areas. I've lived in 7 different states at this point, and I've traveled. So I'm very blessed in the aspect that my mind has been opened to so many new things, and I love it all.
Yeah.
Different foods and different music. I enjoy that. I enjoy life.
I would venture to say that your life feels pretty full.
It does.
Right? But you make it feel full.
Yeah.
Like you're the one filling it up, right? You have to do that. Nobody else is going to do it for you.
Well, I've been told multiple times that the way I look at life is a little bit morbid, but for me, I knew what I wanted to do at a very young age. And I've always been a goal setter. So I set a goal and I reach it, and I set the next goal and I reach it. And then if I, don't have a goal yet, I'm going to dream up another goal and then I'll reach that. And so I have done this over the time. And now that I've become a flight nurse and I've been doing this for a little while, I am okay with dying tomorrow. I've lived a very full life. I've done a lot more than most people can say that they've done in a lifetime that I've done in 32 years.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just at peace with whatever happens from here on out.
It's a really cool place to be, right?
Yeah. Right. It's a definitely different mindset. And I feel like a lot of people I talk to have never reached that level and don't get that feeling of satisfaction with their life or their job. And that's unfortunate. I feel really bad for them. I wish that I could help them feel what I feel.
I totally felt like that before, but then once I had my daughter, everybody told me it would change. And I was like, nah, it ain't changed, but it kind of changed. Like I kind of want to see, I at least want to see this out to roughly like 18. Like that would be my goal. You know what I mean? Like, not that she is not necessarily my reason to live, but like I definitely want to experience this. And this is a process. It's over time. You know what I mean? This isn't like, oh, I go skydiving. This is like, it's like skydiving every day for like 18 years. And like, I'm really excited about it. And like, but now that I'm living my life as full as I possibly can, everything feels full. And so I never take any time with her for granted. Time right now, her time with me is her time and my time is my time. Like when I'm by myself, that's my time. But when I'm with her, that is her time. Until she's old enough to decide what she wants to do with her time, I want to be available there for her, to turn her into a monkey climbing boy, right?
I feel like you get that gratification of watching her just grow and and develop and achieve goals in life as well. And you want to see these milestones and just you're proud of her already, you know?
Well, like I'm blessed that like I'm doing this at a really late age in life, and most of my friends have already had their kids and like pretty much cooked them to almost like full, capacity.
Stick fork in them, they're done.
Yeah, like it's like that one's 18 out. And so I listen to what they say and what they've said, and so there are just times where I just like hug her, and I just go, "What is this? What does this feel like? Remember what this feels like. This won't be forever. Like just try to remember this." Like I really try to remember moments as much as I can. And so like, and I'm like everybody else, like I watch, I want to be on my phone. And so like, I try really hard. If I go in a room or we're together, I take both of them off and I put them away. So I have no contact with it, especially if I don't have any reason to have it with me. Like if I'm waiting on something important, yeah, client, but otherwise no. And try to just really be there. And that's what you were saying about like being in the water. It's like, well, you can't really bring your cell phone with you. You're just in the water,
You're present.
Yeah.
Today, skydiving, I didn't film it. They asked me if I wanted to, and I didn't really want to spend the money. I've done it before, and I just lived in the moment instead.
Is that something that comes easy to you, or do you find it like other people do as well to like, you're at a concert and like film stuff and like, so what, like, how do you balance that? Like, obviously you didn't get it filmed and you didn't film it today because you had done it before, right? But how do you balance that? Like between like being present at a concert and then not filming it or filming it, I guess.
I feel like a lot of people these days just constantly have their phones out. And so I myself am guilty of it and will fall into this wanting to display this wonderful life that I'm living for everybody else to see. But I do have to stop and remind myself from time to time, it doesn't matter what you post about your life. Like you're the one living it. Why don't you enjoy it instead of looking through a screen the entire time and not actually being present? How about you be present in the moment and you remember that instead? I don't feel like you remember it if you film it, Like you may look back on it and you may see it, but it's not going to be as memorable as if you're staring at it directly.
Well, what's so great for me is that most of the time when we go to things like that, someone in my group is filming, so I don't have to, because I can just go like, "Hey, send me that video."
Yeah.
But like, I would prefer no one do it. But if you're gonna do it, I mean, send me the video for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't film it. So like, I mean, at least send me the video. So, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Yeah. It was awesome. The free fall, the landing was smooth and just,
yeah, I mean, like that.
It was a blast.
I told you not to worry about it. I'm like, I knew you'd be fine.
I was nervous. I was shaking in my boots.
No, I doubt it. I mean, like you're hanging out in helicopters. Nobody's shaking in their boots. So I make everybody, I ask everybody, give me a hug. You can push that mic forward.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.